Mallory, thank you very much. All new at 5:30, the uncertainty around President Donald Trump's tariffs had led some Kentucky bourbon distilleries to take countries like Canada off their expansion plans. Tonight we have a major follow-up to a story we first brought you back in February after Donald Trump imposed his first tariffs of his second term. One industry expert now telling our Isaiah Kim Martinez we may not know the true impacts for several more months.
The Yarbrough brothers have been staving off rough waters for the last few months.
So we had to actually put these barrels on cinder blocks because of the impending flood.
April flooding at Louisville's waterfront park, delaying the expansion of their bourbon business, Brough Brothers Distillery, to this prime location on River Road, and trade wars putting some of their growth on hold.
We can handle 10%. We definitely don't want to see a 25 or 50%. That's almost a non-starter.
Given President Trump's tariff policies, CEO Victor Yarbrough paused long-anticipated plans to export to countries like Canada.
With Canada in particular, that's still no bueno. That's going to be a while, I believe, before we get any type of traction there in terms of resolution with the tariffs.
Canada is the largest importer of Kentucky bourbon before Canadians started pulling bottles from shelves in retaliation.
And we literally had 1,500 emails fly in from Canada.
Brough Brothers even got hate mail after appearances on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.
This is not how Canadians really, behave.
The majority of the messages, though, apologies.
We understand that this is not on you.
But as Trump negotiates with other countries for better trade agreements, what are Kentucky distillers looking to expand outside the U.S. doing in the meantime?
They're just almost afraid to put something on the water for fear that the tariffs will hit. And they'll be caught in that.
Robert Houseladen is a former Brown-Forman executive and current program director for U of L's Distilled Spirits Business Certificate.
If they get it there, but it still has to go through the tariff, they could be sitting there a long time waiting to sell it.
He says stockpiling bourbon overseas many months ago has helped soften the blow for the bigger companies.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if they've got enough to go to the end of the year.
That'll run out at some point, though, and especially for the smaller companies, a decision will soon have to be made.
Now we know, hey, these are the set amount of countries, and now that we can work around those countries, basically.
Distilleries like Brough Brothers still waiting for the dust to settle, both in the market and at their new Louisville home. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11, on your side.
Well, while Kentucky bourbon sales have leveled off from the COVID boom, you remember that, bourbon tourism has continued to grow in popularity. In fact, we did a recent check with Louisville Tourism about that. The city's total attendance last year for distillery tours and tasting rooms reached around 4 million people in Louisville alone, and we're told by the end of this year, Louisville will have at least 20 different bourbon attractions, the most in its history.